Hello and welcome to West Underground. Today we have Kody Cooper here with us, and now Kody, you have an interesting story, and you're an interesting individual. And I just want to ask, who are you for the viewers that are watching?
So people probably more know me as a playmate. I've been on one Playboy cover, but in three, four Playboy publications. I've done a calendar as well, but I've predominantly done a lot of glamour modeling. Um, but I think the people that know me and generally see my page, I also seem to be sharing a lot of music and see a thing like a lot of local bands as well because I love
Yeah.
them. So uh, I think that's something that very much is my passion as well. Um, I have lots to talk about on that because I've done some projects already, and the other thing is like I gotta get my stuff in order because there's so much. But if we say that's what people know me as, kind of I guess a playmate who just loves their guitarists and shred and metal. Definitely Buckethead. Uh, um, but I want to now, I guess, collaborate or work my other passion in with my current passion of what I do.
Yeah.
Modeling for me, and probably more like a thing with the different genres of music. I find some honestly can fit other people better. Mine, what I've learned is, and what I would still classify Playboy as, um, and why I wanted to in the first place was they're very expressive in creating an atmosphere and a sensuality to the work. Whereas I think more so today you get less of that. It's sort of, a picture and a good looking girl with a prop, but it's nothing that really I can use all these visions that I get. So I have like very creative like visions, but I get them all. I'm very inspired off every time I have one. It'll be because I'm listening to a song that I vibe with.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's where all my ideas come from. But I guess it's how, in one way too, where I see modeling as an art form and how it can, uh, or at least how it links for me with my vision and where music came from, is that whole expression,
Yeah.
and proper feeling like genuine, where you can be inspired off that to, I guess, create your own interpretation from it. So that was something that you see if you check out the recent portfolio pics I did, and I did them strictly for that. Was sort of just to find like in these times, I guess, with like COVID and everything can be a little bit delayed.
Yeah.
So I had, let's say, I will get into the Falling Doves band next because I did do a project with them at the start of the year,
Yeah.
but that is now set back to next year. Um, so within that, it's very much I want to start networking and pushing my brand more to work with music and uh, I guess use it in a way because I respect it and can see it and have um, it helps my focus too. It helps me utilize my creativity and what I have in my own way.
Yeah.
But I also love, I guess, like live music, being around it. Like I'm always listening to it. I want to work with it. So I feel like in some ways being use of like, say, where I could use modeling as a straightforward thing of pictures is more like to promote anyone in live music or anyone, like say if they have merchandise or something like that.
Yeah.
If you want to do, a part in a music video, um, that is predominantly where I'm going with it, with
Yeah.
where I want to collaborate. But then I also thought, why wait as well? It's good to express that side of you in another way, in like individually trying to link, I guess, music and its purpose for your shooting style and the meaning behind it. That does create more of an atmosphere to it. And then I guess, yeah, it puts it more in that erotic genre as takes it out of the whole glamour style.
Yeah.
Because erotic art, erotic photography is based off working with the mind and using like space, symbolism, subliminal links, like everything to bring out a certain expression. And that's the stuff I love. So, but I get all my ideas off music, literally.
Oh, wow.
So it's
So
like I
how did
hear a
you
sound, I get a feeling, and then I get a thought, which is just a full vision.
so how did you get to the point, like to get to, you know, be a model? Like what was the journey from start to kind of, you know, get to work with Playboy?
Like that was, gosh, I mean, I decided when I wanted to do it. I mean, like a few years before that, I wanted
Yeah.
to do it. And I thought, oh, that's going to be difficult. And I know that like magazines and stuff are dying out because of the whole Instagram. No offense to them. Like they do their work well, but this is what was happening was magazines were suffering in sales because there's a lot of people that were just doing more Instagram. So you kind of have to adapt and everything. But I still feel like it's good to always work number one with something that I've always wanted to do, which was Playboy, because I respect it and its whole history and the art form of it. Um, but it enables you to challenge yourself to work with others and different
Yeah.
perceptions rather than having it more straightforward of just being able to, I guess, choose your own photos and what goes online. So it's my Instagram is basically in some ways like a cross between my social and my work, probably more that, but
Yeah.
it's uh it's more a showcase of my work that is not on Instagram. Like it's
Yeah.
not for Instagram. It could be found other places, but I think it's really good to have on your resume too because it shows that when you work with a professional big company, people do take you more seriously
Yeah.
because they can see like that is like a lot of work. For me, that took a while because initially uh, I'd done a photo shoot initially and I had submitted to a different magazine and they had emailed me back and they said that they've got a concept as well. So they've got, you have to do within their thing. So shoot like this and find this photographer and work with them. Did submitted, resubmitted again and, didn't hear back. Did another shoot in the process, submitted that, and we just kept submitting, maybe for like a year and a half. It's very hard to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And then uh a smaller magazine had picked it up, so it was Australia's Top Glam Models. So they had like a few years ago, I think they had like a big calendar, like their calendar was quite big. They also had a magazine and they had put me on the cover, but apparently the girl that's on the cover of every month goes into this competition. She wins Glamour Model of the Year. So I won that, which I honestly didn't expect. Because it was like going from my first one to I think there was another magazine in between, and then the next one was just like this big boom, here you go, you won. And one of the I guess the thing that enabled me to do Playboy was winning that because they had set up a Playboy photographer that was here at the time. So the winner definitely like she got to like well I got to shoot with him. And so did other girls as well. So there were like maybe just like a few, like 8 or 10, whatever. But because I think the Playboy photographer was one of the judges of that competition as well. So that was yeah, I don't know, it was weird for me because it happened so quick.
Yeah.
It was kind of just going from here as soon as I was discovered to just boom. Like so it was a lot. And I remember the whole time, even for like shot over 2 days, and even then I'm thinking like, okay, I think I'm doing this, but like I don't know.
Yeah. So they sent you over to LA. Did you go to the mansion and everything? Like, was it the
um
whole experience?
that's yeah, you can do it that way. Playboy, I think because they have generally like if they've got their own photographers, if they do a tour or anything like that, so if they come, you have to wait for them to come to you, or you have to go to them. And majority of the yeah, all of them, the US. So he's actually here,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, it made it a lot easier. But um, they've got if you look in what do you call it? I'm so bad with words. The front cover, and they tell you like they've got their billings, so they have like 4 or 5 different photographers in there that they like work for them. Um, and so basically, like, you shoot with them. They do accept other photos as well. So like any other magazine, you can always submit with a well-known photographer and your level of skill, and they can take it to you. But I think to be centerfold, usually it's one of their photographers because they know the style exactly, and they've got the communication with Playboy and how they want everything. They know the setup. Yeah.
Cool. And what did it feel like to want something and then all of a sudden you're doing it? Was that cool?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, even you just bringing that feeling back right now. I guess I got goosebumps now. I can feel it. Yeah, wow. But this is sort of like that. I don't know. You just kind of get scared for a moment because you're like, well, what's this about? Like, or you almost feel like, was this too soon? Is it like, do I deserve this? I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, I think it's easy to forget sometimes that, you know what, maybe you are right for something and you did put in the work. Like, it took a year and a half before it even being published. So let's say 2 years later. But I think it was like because I put in all this work with sort of not really realizing it because it didn't have any attention on it yet, that it just, as soon as it did, it just, I don't know, it just went off. And it was just kind of weird for me because almost I have this way of like, it shouldn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Like you said, Brad, so you're like, no. But
Did you meet any big names while you're in LA? Did you make any big celebrities or musicians that you ran into?
So I mean, I went to Los Angeles at a different time. Because like I said, like when we had that photographer here, that's where we had shot, was in Sydney. But yeah, I mean, I met Vince Neil. Who's, I know maybe he gets a lot of trash talking. And I'm not gonna go into why. I think everyone knows why. But he's still awesome. He's Vince Neil. He was really lovely. He's polite. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm forgetting things because I kind of
when you
was
met
trying
Vince?
to. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just wanting to ask, like, when you met Vince Neil, did you like ask questions about like, like, did he tell you anything? Did he tell you any secrets of like, his history?
Hmm. I was sort of more like, you know what? I think you tend to be a little bit stunned, maybe. So at first, you just like keep calm, like, So I mean, I was like at a club where I met him, and I had one of my friends who was there who was kind of asking those questions. Maybe sort of more in a fan-like way. I mean, gosh, let me just say I love my friend. He's awesome. But yeah, maybe not the best way to approach if you want to be able to sit and still have a drink, like, so for me, it was more like, I guess, asking about like how his tour had been, and they told me that we're going to Japan. I remember he had a who was it? Was this really gorgeous Japanese lady, but because I remember she had a full tattooed sleeve, but she was awesome. But she was an interpreter, so he was they had her here actually because I maybe she's on the whole tour, but yeah, because they were going to Japan after. So she was there. There was a Ryan Brown. I don't know if anyone still knows him, but he was cool. And then his girlfriend Rain Hannah. So I was just sort of like more vibing with them about their time here, and just sort of engaging whether they wanted to talk more about their work or if it was more like, we're here to have a drink and relax, and just sort of ask about more so maybe their time here, and then you find interesting things off that. So, like what they got up to today, what's their plan later, what's happening on the next tour. And then they gave me, because again, I had met him here. I had, like, they invited me to Melbourne. So I had free tickets to their show too. So it was like I still
Wow.
got the tickets because they're like complimentary on them and stuff. So I just picked them up. But I it's more in that respect, I think, is like when you can sort of make a connection with someone and know about their work, and maybe, maybe he just sort of wants to kick back and be treated like, hey, I'm a friend, like, like being able to do that without sort of maybe people viewing him differently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's a way that you can relate to him and also know about who he is, because he is a musician. He has all those amazing stories and stuff. Oh, okay. Wait. I mean, how much can we mention on here?
I mean, we're on YouTube, so I mean, anything goes. We're not radio, so.
Well, that's it. I have a signature, Vince Neil's signature on me.
Yeah.
Because he signed it. You can't always see it, but let me tell you, you can. You can see it in my Playboy cover, because it's not like it's. It's like my hip bone kind of close to it, like kind of is, I don't know, but it's very, very low down. Yeah. And so I know it's not bad. But it's like everyone goes for up here, go to do somewhere else. So like why not? Like it's Vince Neil.
Yeah.
It kind of goes.
Yeah.
And I love my Mick Mars tattoo as well.
Oh, you got Mick Mars tattoo, yeah?
Yeah, I have a few Motley tats actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have an Alice Cooper on the back of my neck. I have Nick is on my ankle. I don't know if you can see. Gosh, how do I?
Nearly.
Maybe. I don't know. How am I gonna do this?
Just on the music side, I noticed you're a big fan of Buckethead. Buckethead. What style? Oh, sorry. What when you listen to Buckethead, what inspiration do you get from it when you're modeling his like music? Because you put the music and modeling together.
Yeah, and I have another example that I can sort of almost link in that makes it more understandable for others. Is I feel like there's something about Buckethead in general where there's something about him that's next level. I don't know. I'm just assuming because he's as well just so passionate about what he does, is that he was able to just to make the amount of quality music as well. I know people think he's very technical and maybe he's not the greatest composer. I have no idea, but it's far from that. It's like he is so expressive and innovative as well, and is able to use so many different genres and blend them or do them simply. But honestly, to that like level of quality, I don't know, but it's probably why he becomes so good. I think it as well as maybe the techniques as well, and he understands it from a point of almost like a fantasy in your mind of like he's envisioning creating an atmosphere. It's something that links with me the most, I guess. I don't know, because it brings out like it's such intense music in a way. People have a different idea, I guess, of what intense is. So maybe I don't know. When you sort of meet like not to like people who don't understand like the whole like the heavier genres and darker genres, and they think like, okay, maybe even like, so it's like them saying that Alice in Chains is intense, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
No, it's not, but I mean, maybe in an emotional standpoint, yeah, but they think the music's like too heavy, and with Buckethead again, it's not like that at all. It's just a very intense feeling and a connection. So it very much connects with something inside of me. The weirdest thing about that, I don't know, maybe it's just more about vibing with the artist, that you can find the similarities. Weirder again, I guess, that people is like, what's your similarity? Just the individual side, I think. And I think being able to be so passionate about something, and the fact that he puts so much focus and so much individual expression into his work, and he links the things that he likes to do that, but he makes it his own. So he's very inspired but innovative. And there's some specific where I just love, because I love shred. Like, I mean, I love Steve Vai.
Yeah.
He's incredible. So is Joe Satriani. Like, those are my two. Mick Mars, I'm waiting for his solo album to come out. But I listened to so much of that. I think when I found Buckethead, it was like this next level thing. It never ends. There's just so many albums, and then he's got Pike albums. There's 294 of those alone.
Wow.
For me, it's a godsend. Like, because I love instrumentals, but I feel like they're able to connect you deeper. So you're like, what's this feeling of it? Your mind is like, then naturally is curious, it wants to know more. It comes up with this vision of like what that might be or what it means to you.
Yeah.
You know, you get in that flow and it's just everything comes and your vision is there. But he definitely helped me, I think, more put that visions into focus, but the confidence side of it too. I think just watching him and knowing that there's also someone out there who is that talented, and maybe at first people don't really understand or don't understand his personality, but you know what, he's doing it anyway. And I think the whole point of him too, like having to wear the mask and everything, in one way it was like to help overcome like stage fright. So the fact that in the end, like I used so much of his personality and the things that he truly loved to just morph completely into his own thing. That it's like, that's my, I don't know, it's probably like where all the passion and love comes from, how he's just able to just do what he does as opposed to do things that he thinks he should be doing.
Yeah.
And I think that seeing that gave me more confidence too, because it's like, oh, see, you can create quality stuff. Your own stuff is always going to be unique. The way that I think that will naturally work and you'll find things that truly fit and sync up is just absolutely using that without sort of having to worry, I guess, about, you know, will this magazine like that? Or like, you know, for anyone else in any industry, you know, that's not really the way things are done. I mean, well, like for me it is. I'm bored now of like, you know, I guess being stuck in one direction. So it's very, not the band, by the way, ew, that just popped into my brain. So what, no offense, it's just not my it's good. I don't know, he was sort of able to leave me more with confidence, and I think part of me taking so long as well to maybe network with other musicians and find people who, you know, maybe wanted to help with you know, use me for any like sort of collaborative opportunities. That sort of took a while, more so because I felt like, oh, I feel very much an outsider from both sides. I think when people know me and the more I show of my personality, they can see exactly how the look actually syncs with the personality and that it's genuine. But initially I had that sort of fear of like, oh, I don't know, because, you know, maybe if I share this one thing or I reach out to someone, maybe they're going to think like, oh, she looks kind of stupid and shallow. But there's stupid things that always take over our minds, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was always like a worry. Meanwhile, there's like the other side of it, which my stuff definitely, like maybe the stature, that's probably like the only thing. I feel very out of place with like the rest of like mainstream everything, because it's just not my thing. But so they think I'm weird. And I'm worried about the other side being like, is she genuine? And then I think I'm, you know, overcoming that. I feel like you got a cat hair on my lip. I do. Sorry. These days. And you know what? They're great. Yeah, I think just overcoming that stupid fear for one. I think I can be very childlike too when I get excited. Like when I love something, I'm completely in love with it. So it's not so much, I love that. That's my thing. Like I just engulf myself into it and I want to know more. But the other side of that maybe too is like, for me, and this is my thoughts, honestly, and this is a thing where it's like, I tell myself that based off what sometimes maybe I think, but it's more like, my energy levels sometimes, okay, I feel like anyone's gonna have more energy when they're passionate about stuff.
Yeah.
Me, I get just very, I know the word, it's just like a next level excitement or passion when I hear like music, when I'm around it, everything. So it's kind of like that, the worry of that too, being like, oh, she just looks like stupid. Like when people pretend to kind of be dumb
Yeah.
and they start acting all silly, and I'm like, how am I supposed to calm that down while sharing my love and knowledge of this? And you know what? Buckethead, just because it gave me the confidence to do that, like I was like, again, while everything COVID's delayed, like, the music video did for Falling Doves, like that's being delayed now. I still want to work within it somehow and just express my own thing. It's that moment where the passion sort of overrode the fear of just being myself, was like, this is such a good idea. Like I'm kind of afraid, but I don't care. So I did that, and then I ended up actually, which was one of the greatest things ever, purposely made sure that was for my profile, because I don't want the meaning to be lost, and there's so many intricate details in that if you kind of use separate bits or separate photos and there's no actual description of the meaning, I think it's not like the photos don't really make sense.
Yeah.
So what I did, though, I wanted sort of in some way like more people who would appreciate it see it. I reached out to Natanet, who is a massive Buckethead fan base, and I just wanted to give it to them because I want Buckethead fans to have it. In the process, you find that when I had to talk about it, that was my first thing. I was so scared. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're gonna think I'm so stupid. And it was actually quite the opposite. And the one thing where it did come across genuine, where people just like, they can see that you love it because you're expressing your natural joy, but then you're also able to talk about it. Because like you would, when you like stuff, you can converse, you can elaborate. It's not, oh yeah, I love that. Oh, it's just cool. Like, I think people can tell when you're genuine. And so in some ways, the things that I was worried about was actually something that was like, I can't believe I was worried about that. Like, so it sort of opened the door, and then I did a podcast about Buckethead. And then I've had some support from great people too, like just other musicians, and like Golden Robot Records, they've been quite encouraging. It's nice to actually sort of see like, what was I worried about? Like, and when you naturally, if you want to do something and it's genuine, people, like, you can't not be genuine with it.
Yeah.
I did that to myself, but that's how Buckethead has affected me, and why I guess I had definitely sort of in some way like a partial tribute, but linking with my work as well, and in a way that could also relate it to appealing to people where they would watch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's in my way. They also get a dose of Buckethead at the same time, but they can see why I like it. So it's, oh my goodness.
Oh, we've lost you.
1 second. Am I still there?
You're still here. You're here.
My gosh, that was my dad.
So
let's hope he doesn't call back. Well, I mean, I love him, but so what would happen? What was I saying?
I wanted to just ask a question there about like, why is Buckethead like so mysterious? Like really low profile.
I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of what I do know, or like a lot of what we do know, and you have to find to search it. At the same time, it's kind of like, do we ever know? I have a rough idea, and we know based off.
So you haven't got a chance to meet him?
He is he is seriously someone who I respect in the way that he is so out of working with media and stuff. Like, I think the whole point was like when with Guns N' Roses. Let me get that off my screen now. Sorry. Okay, we're good.
Oh.
It was more like, I think he works well. Like definitely, he's involved in other bands like Primus and Praxis. He's done collaboration with John Carpenter. This soundtrack that I've been going off about for weeks has Steve Vai in it too. You guys should check it out. It's called the Ghost of Mars soundtrack. He's very much like, he knows what he vibes with and how to make the most of what he has without having to deal with things that he does not sync with. I think for him, he's someone who's so talented. I mean, all these albums and pipes that he made after Guns N' Roses was kind of a perfect example. But I mean, I think he was only able to find that out by sort of, you know, trying something. And then when it maybe just wasn't his fit, and, you know, he truly does just want to do things of his own. He's, and not in a disrespectful way or anything, not like that. It's more, he's probably more like introverted, but the fact that he can use that, and that he, and I guess like the whole point of like maybe even like for many people feeling anxious at times or like socially, the best way for him to go about his work and overcome that is to work individually in the way that he does. So he is more out of social media and just media in general, but I think he's done really well with that. And that's just something that's like, I think you can see and hear why he has made so much music and how amazing it is, because he truly has just gone, all right, well, this isn't for me. That is something that is uncomfortable. What am I going to do now? What's my best way for me that I can do it? Start it. And I mean, just look where he is now, seriously. It's, I think most people don't know about it though, because, you know, sort of like that, but he has a reputation as well for being a very, actually quite like innocent, childlike soul. And I think that's something that's beautiful as well. It's just so like
interviews with puppets.
Amazing. Yeah, Herbie. It's this little like his head, yeah. And it's all that stuff that I love. But like I said, I'm such a child too. When you can just be like that and just be like, you know what, this is what I'm doing. But you know, in some ways you think, how does he not have confidence? He does. But he's found it in a way where it's like his passion for music obviously drives him to these things that and other things that make him feel comfortable, even though they're weird to other people. He's found ways to overcome that, but at a point like it's just so good.
Yeah.
It's like he's a true individual. I think he's a fantastic role model. I mean, merely just seeing his personality and hearing the things that, you know, other people would say, like, you're not always going to hear it. He doesn't really do a lot of interviews. There was one interview that he did do like recently, and there's not many. And I really admire that because he was speaking very much about things like how he handles, I guess, more like the social anxious aspect of things. Like that's what he chose to talk about. You know, and how he's able to overcome that by just being so absorbed in something that he loves, that he just gets in this flow state is the only way to overcome it and continue doing what he loves.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of ignoring everything else. And it's just some of the things he said in that, I don't know, it's like you will find in different ways there's so much to him, but I think everyone can relate to that. And he's just he's a great example. He's a genius. I love a brain. Like I
Sounds like you're obsessed with Buckethead. Sounds like you're a big fan of Buckethead.
I mean, I love guitars anyway.
Do you play
this
guitar?
is my thing. Like I really do. Quite often I listen to instrumentals. I don't even really want lyrics because some like yes, but not always. And I kind of, you know, it's just like I love shred. I do. Like
do you play?
No, and you know what? That's maybe again something a fear that I need to get over. But I find myself. I was looking at different guitars and like the humbuckers and stuff to get like a certain sound. I started looking for like the pedals that like Buckethead uses versus like, you know, Steve Vai and what he recommends and like the amp tubes and stuff. And I'm like, such a dog.
But you haven't tried to play, like even a couple of times, like just picked up one or?
You don't know, and it's so weird too, because I have fascination with like Fenders, like the Stratocasters. And I just love their sound, and it may be something I can link back to McMars. I don't know. This is this thing again. I should. I mean, there was like even just times where I've been at Frankie's and people ask me the same thing, because naturally, I say some weird shit that would make you probably think that I would know things, or like that I maybe have like here or there play guitar somewhere. I don't know. But then I haven't. It's just like I just listen so much.
I'm surprised you
vibe with it. But it's something that I probably like should do anyway. Like I think more at the moment too, I'm learning different ways to incorporate my love of it in with what I can bring already and my strengths. And also, like, if we don't sort of go more the promotional side, is being able to understand it two ways now, is by actually playing guitar. And I think on the business side, by the way, fantastic video with Monica Stripe, because I reached out to her.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. You know, I think she's gonna have some really cool advice too, because she knows two sides, and I think that's what I've struggled with for so long too, is finding someone who knows both sides. Or I mean, I know one side of what I do already. It's kind of knowing the other, and from the business aspect that can link with what I do.
Yeah.
So I think she's quite knowledgeable.
Yeah, Monica is very successful in knowledge of the music and business side of things.
Yeah.
She was very influential and very informative as well, that we didn't know
of. Right. So I always saw her put up in people's like stories when they're tagged, and you know when you kind of, your brain makes the connection, but then it's, I mean, I don't know if you guys get distracted as much as I do. Sometimes you're like, oh, and you notice, you're like, who is this Monica? She looks like she's having so much fun. She's at all these events. I never really thought to be like, go check that out, you idiot. Like, hello. So I did. I did. Finally, I was like, oh, Monica Struck, yeah. And so I went and I like checked the video, and I was like, what's I'm like, oh. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So that's, you know, I mean, it's never too late. I always just thought she was really cool because she was at the events. I'm like, who is that? She's got the ideal lifestyle, doesn't she?
we very appreciate that you've been watching our other stuff as well. We're very appreciative of that.
Yeah, I want to get and watch more. I still need to watch the one with Bad and Boy, because let's say, like, for real, and I don't know whether they believe me or not with this. More so like they should, because I'm kind of someone who, when I love shit, I will tell you, and it's so exaggerated. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that I don't love, and they absolutely just know. So you'll know. They're no, I mean, they have something of what they're kind of what I would imagine a band should sound like today. Like one that, like, say, just in terms of progression and everything of how they should be. They're just, honestly, I mean, everyone's got their own opinions again. It's a big statement, but I don't know. I mean, to me, they're my favorite Australian band. Let's say that.
I really hope Bad Moon Born watch this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this to.
We'll send it to Void and Jordan when it's ready.
They're so talented. Oh my gosh. No, you know what? Because I keep encouraging Voya, and I think he needs to work with Buckethead. So let's stick with that now. They have something. They're very innovative. Like, they have their own ideas, and they're able to. There's something, again, I don't know what it is in me when I hear things, but it's like something, and it comes to me, and I'm like, I feel like in some ways, musically, like, the terminology is like, do I really know what I'm talking about? I think my description kind of is like, yeah, no, that's what it is, but you just don't know the words to put it together. But I feel like Yeah, like you watch Void, for instance, right? And his ability to do it like all the mixes and producing. I think they're amazing songwriters as well. I think that's half of it, is being able to write, like compose, um, as well as being talented. I think the whole band currently too just sings so well. They're really like nothing is out of balance, or everything enhances. Jordan again surprised me because I mean he fits with their time. They're always progressing, and it's always so uniquely their sound still. What I love too is like again like Buckethead. Uh, you can tell where the inspiration came from, but only if you just sit and wonder about that. You know what I mean? Or someone's like, "Can you tell that this is like where my inspiration came from?" Like, oh, okay, now I hear it, but it's completely different. I think that's true use of being inspired, and that's what Buckethead does, and that's why it's innovative. But I think, yeah, like just okay, calm area, right? So,
Yeah, Camiro, yeah.
I say all sorts of things wrong, but yeah, hearing his like more like symphonic vocals in that. And then you hear him in Bad and Blood, and then there was some stuff where he's like full, just like the pitch range. It's just like how that's incredible. I took a friend to one of their concerts like back in February, and I didn't say anything. One of the first things he mentioned was just like, that guy's a beast on vocals. I'm like, yes, beast or God, I don't know. It's just all musicians are gods. That's what I think.
Mhm.
Anyway, see this? That's my excitement, and this is where I get so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm such a child. Oh my god! But yeah, I think like Full Out was great. Can I just say, it's very. They just do everything they should do. I know it like flows and it links. Like nothing is gone from extreme. Like okay, we're changing it up now, but it's got a flow to it in their change and how far they've come. Man, I don't know if they realize that, but it does. And everything is still their unique sound. And I think, again, maybe it's just something that I look for, but Buckethead does that too. So he will have different sounds, but he's got a way that's his way.
Yeah.
And it always sounds like Buckethead. If he's covering like traditional blues, it's like progressive. It's got like hard rock cover, like funk, avant-garde, experimental. Honestly, sometimes I just think like, what genre is he? Has he created his own? Because he's got a very unique sound of his own, like individual talent over it. I don't know. Some people just have really good brains.
Hey, Kody.
And they spin me out trying to think about it.
I wanted to get in there before and just say I'm surprised you haven't seen Paul by any chance at Frankie's at all your adventures out there. Paul seems to live there.
Wait. Oh, have you ever seen me there?
Might have maybe once. Probably. You look familiar.
Yeah, there's so many people at festival. I'm like, wait, like you're always here. I mean, I think even one of the bar staff ones, I was like, oh, you knew. It's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. You have so much fun there. Does anything really exist around it? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different world.
You're like, but yeah, if you ever see me, come say hi. Because if I haven't, trust me, this brain distracted or talking about things, doing what it loves doing, it is completely just in its own zone. And when it's around that, it's just like nothing else exists. But if you're in my way and you pull me out of that little spot, it's like, hey, oh hey, cool. Oh, I didn't see you there. It's like it was right here, you idiot. Like
Yeah,
that's my distraction level, or is it more like a hyper focus? I don't know.
Find a lot of interesting people at Frankie's.
What's the most interesting night you've had at Frankie's, Kody?
Oh, wait.
Oh, just kidding. We're on YouTube, by the way.
Okay, no, so good. Well, I don't know, it's kind of like sentimental, but it's funny. But it's I mean, okay, normally I hang with Russ. Russ Young.
Yeah, so do I.
He's a
He's my good friend.
sweetheart. Oh, but you know, if Russ is watching too, hello, sweetheart. I miss you. Anyway,
I was going to invite him on. I was going to send him the link as well because I'm good friends with him as well.
Yeah.
But I
Really?
ran out of time.
Wow. Oh, let's do another episode of that with Ross. I think that's
Yeah, it might
we
be a good idea. Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
have to talk
so-
him in. We've asked. He's in our like story highlights somewhere. We've tried to talk him into coming on a couple of times, but
yeah. I think because I reached out to him too the other day. I just like to check up, you know.
There was a story 2 weeks ago.
You should, Ross, get on here. But yeah, so I kind of. But usually my Monday nights is like I hang out with Russ, we go to Frankie's, and I love the house band. They're like Joel's so good. I mean, like where else are you gonna hear Gary Moore? Seriously, a cover of that? Like, yes, done so well. The other part, I guess, in terms of those standout moments that aren't always, I know exactly what it is. It was the night before lockdown last year, and so I remember like hearing that everything was gonna be like shut the next day. I wasn't planning on going out, and then immediately I was like, like if the whole world was ending. I did like this. If the whole world was ending, where would you be right now? And I was like, Frankie. So I go, and I'm like, yes. But I get there, there's like not that many people there, honestly. So quiet, but in some ways it was just so good. Like I got the best moments when it's like that to me. Then other people that were so like gorgeous that maybe you hadn't run into before. Just to have conversation about like, I guess, you know, when you get some people there who are there for more of a drinking spot or whatever, and then you get people when they're all into music that are there and appreciate it. It's different.
Yeah.
So it's just basically that. And I had a moment where I was just like, I feel so sad. Like, it's just that moment. And you just kind of looking around everything. Like, I love this place. Like, it's like a community of its own where I think we all can connect, like where we can have things in common. And basically, I just couldn't stand it. Like, I think it was I felt sad, but then I was worried about other people being sad. So yeah, I mean, really, it wasn't anything that's gonna fix that. How can I say this correctly and politely? You'll see the picture on my Instagram and behind the bar now at Frankie's. There's a picture of me, but on an amp, but I'm like topless on there, but I just had to do it because it makes everything, at least in that moment.
Oh, is that you? Is it?
Better. Oh, I'm saying
I think I know what you're talking about.
There's
a few photos. There's a few photos like that.
Yeah, it's done purely out of this world of like, how do I make this better for everyone? And I've always wanted to do something like that. Sound weird, right? Like I'm a tricky bitch sometimes, just you know. But I think with that little people there, you could. And I was like, I'm doing this for this place on this day, the day before lockdown. You know. I mean, some things are worth it. I think that's worth it, you know?
Yeah, I think Frankie's is the only place that lets you get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think for me, I'm quite well behaved there, you know? So even for me, like, that was, that's probably my wild moment there, if you want to talk about those things. Because usually I'm just doing like the most stupid shit, like and like you just so involved in like enjoying music and stuff that you just I know that's it. You end up having such a ridiculous time doing like just silly stuff that it's like I don't know, how is that place not fun? But that's more like me. It's wild in a sense in those times. because I don't know if you've ever seen my full force of energy naturally just unleash in an atmosphere of music. Yeah, it's like a tornado of, I don't know, some misbehaved 5-year-old running around. The best way I could describe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where do you do you have any upcoming plans in the next year or so?
Yeah. So say for me, like I said, because it's always been my main direction, was I want to use my modeling more like in link with the music industry and live performance and just promoting it and find ways to um use more of my inspiration for it and just my own ideas that can display or relate a certain feeling or vision to a specific song. Take the ideas and put it in my portfolio as an individual as well. But anything like Bandrite or collaborations, I just want to do that. Like at the moment, and this was just on my own thing of, I mean, what are captions for anyway, right? I'd much rather use it for this. It's better. Every Buckethead photo that I post is underneath that. Also has a local band that's tagged underneath. So
nice.
if you guys want to, like anyone is watching, don't hesitate to message me and be like, hey, can you tag us in your next one? I'm like, yes. So I just thought because that's it. Like I love so many local bands too. They're great. So it gets my captions very much used for that naturally. It's like
what local bands do you
a
like?
Buckethead song with this and one local band with but yeah, I think full-length dance band who I went to mention, that's where I started sort of end of last year, just really trying to work my way in more with networking like that.
Hey, Kody.
I did a music video for their stage.
I just want to get you to ask this now while we're on the topic of it. I've been wanting to ask, like, who are your favorite live bands? Like we've already mentioned a couple, but who else is on your favorites list?
Oh, okay. I want to say The Witching Hour.
Oh yes, yeah.
The
definitely.
Witching Hour are great. They surprise me because they're so young, right? And I'm like, again, that's not stupid. Like what? So what? Like young, so many young musicians out there talented.
Yeah.
I think it's the problem is they need more encouragement, or again, the industry needs more attention drawn.
Yeah.
To that, because there's so many that it's like you guys are good too. They're very, I don't know. It's like they've had years of experience almost. Like they just sound like that. It's so, you know what I mean when I say in the same term of like very clean and like very well like produced, put together, like all of it. They're just great. Yeah. The Witching Hour. I mean, like they'll definitely Band Reborn is just like my favorite. So, then, I will, because again, it's weird. And when I go through like all these like moments and videos and stuff, and I'm like, even like when Monica was saying that, she's like, oh yeah, it's just people knowing everyone and stuff. And shout out to Molly and the Crows, because Blake was actually someone who I met very first from that industry, who I had sort of, maybe when I didn't know many people to be around. Yeah. But I felt like so far removed from everyone else. I was just like, I need to do something. Like, I need new friends. So, I remember, gosh, this was back when Steel Panther, I'm in their hotel bar. It was like after a concert, and I remember because I had a few brief words with him up there. We were both back there having a drink, and I hadn't really, maybe like I always had him on Facebook, but I never really like connected that much over the years. And then one day I just was kind of like, I just want to go like be around more music and stuff, and I think because he was like sort of someone that I new within the Sydney music scene, I just keep up with what he's doing and check out what he does, and
Yeah.
kind of inspired me as well to be like, yeah, you can do what you want to do. Like, absolutely. Like, he's doing it, look at him. And then he was like over in the US with Ronnie Simmons, and Ronnie Simmons, Ronnie Simmons is awesome too. And like, just to see people have that success is so encouraging, but you're also so happy for them because I'm like, yes, like, you guys are talented. But Ronnie Simmons too, I think, he
Can we
is
mention that, Paul?
Sorry?
okay. Do you know he sent me a message once?
Can
You
we
know what that
mention
message
Ronnie
was?
Simmons now?
Yeah, Ronnie, we're trying to get Ronnie Simmons on the on here as well. He's actually
trying to match
saying
up
maybe
time
by next
zones.
week.
Yeah, well, shout out to him because I will always remember one thing specific was that he had actually sent me a really nice message that was just encouraging. Like, it was, I can't explain it. And when you feel that stuff from people, or like people you look up to, you're like, really? Oh, like, pay attention to it. I think we all need to support each other and encourage. And if anyone has anything to say that anyone that's good, tell them, because it makes them utilize and really use their skill more, I think. And I think that's really what it is. Just realize that you're good and realize that you can just keep building on that and just get better and better and better.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be the same as you. If Ronnie Simmons comes on, I'm just going to stare at him and not say anything because I'll be too shy to say anything because I look up to him as well. So I'll be like so shy. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and just to, I mean, even I don't know, like, he's just, wow, like, who hasn't he worked with? Like, and it's so, again, someone like that to see that has come from, well, yeah, like Australia, and has made even the more bold moves. I know, like, you don't think about it at first, but there's things like that. Moving to an entirely new, different country where you don't really know anyone. But again, I think it's that reminder, and I guess the thing that I really like in people, and a reminder that I can see when I've done it is, yeah, like, he is very passionate about what he does. He loves his work. So that just, it pushes you to not really give a shit about pointless stuff that's going to hold you back. You're just like, no, goodbye, go away. And you do it. And so it's just nice to see when people do that. And so I'm all for that, you know. Anyone else needs encouragement, just honestly, just, I will, I don't know. I'm such a talker. I will talk it into your ears why you're so good. But only if I vibe with it. You know.
Just before we finish, do you have any advice for like young women out there who are trying to like go into a role or a industry?
In like,
Like,
is it in a
follow
sort
the
of,
dreams, just to follow the dreams?
yeah, I think the one thing, always, you know, when you're younger, you have a rough idea of what that is, and then later on you can see exactly how it sinks and why. There's always a deeper meaning to it though. And once you discover that deeper meaning of why you truly love it, like, if you sit and you're like, gosh, why do I freaking love this so much? And sometimes you just think about it. It gives you more ideas of how you can utilize that on your own and your own talents based off your own perspective, that you will be all of a sudden aware of things and talents that maybe you didn't think you had. For me, I've noticed things like, in one point, I guess, working in other jobs. I mean, I was even doing like nursing at one point, and I just decided to quit because it was like, that was something that I think I chose to do based off what I thought I should.
Yeah.
I ended up getting so bored, and just, it's really not how my working style is, not how my brain is.
Yeah.
It goes to that point where it was like, I couldn't let go of something that I had that I really wanted to do. And it was like, I'm at the point where I don't care how long it takes or whatever, like, at least I'm working with something that I love doing over time. If it's successful, even better. But if not, it's still so amazing to work with things and have that every day. But naturally, you're gonna understand it more and figure out processes and ways to do things, because I feel like it's you're sort of drawn to things, I guess, that match things that you can see within you, or certain like a personality or whatever. So once I sort of realized that too, I mean, maybe let's just say this. In one way, maybe you think like, oh, I'm so distracted, right? And that's bad for this, and daily things like this. And I'm too jumpy and fidgety. And so, you're just like, it doesn't work like that, right? But then you start doing what you love doing and you realize you kind of like, actually, these things are really beneficial here because my brain doesn't want to leave this alone. And it's like going through all the in-depth analysis. You have like, maybe it's like you have more of a creative brain as well, but you have all this energy and focus on things that you do love doing. And that's something that's a huge help too, is let's say we have trouble focusing on stuff. The one thing that makes that easier to begin with is focusing on something you like doing. And when you realize like, oh my gosh, I was productive, that it's like, it's so good for your soul again. You're like, oh, I'm impressing myself. This actually isn't a problem. It's just I was using it on the wrong thing and my brain works differently. So, but it works with what I want to do. You find like all these amazing things. I truly say if you're passionate about something, you find ways to make it work. And even at the start, you slow build it so you're in one job, but you're slowly making the transition.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I kind of always done it more so. It's like, it's always good to do that. But I mean, sometimes too, I mean, if the right opportunity comes along, if you don't want something, I mean, there's no point in slowly phasing out the other one. Just leave it, throw it away, throw it in bin. If you think of like Buckethead called me right now, it was like, I want to use your brain because, I need a vision for something that I can make a sound of. They're like, oh, I am there. I would think twice about it. I just wouldn't. It's naturally, because when you're passionate, you just do it, right? And then I'm probably over there thinking, wait, I have 2 cats. Like, I'm such a dork. But yeah, that's my advice. Everything is easier when you like what you do, and then your head is clearer too because you're just positive. So it's like it's just no clutter. You only have time to absorb and spend time with the things that you like doing.
Yeah, I've noticed angry people are always cranky because they're doing things that they don't enjoy. Like it's just that's when it really becomes a job, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a different stress.
Yeah,
I think being able to experience both has been good though, because in jobs that I didn't like, that just annoy me, it was harder for me to understand them too. And then it kind of makes you feel like maybe you're not good enough, or you see other people loving it and you're like, is there something wrong with me? Like no, there's not anything wrong with you. You're just in the wrong job.
Yeah.
You're just, it's not something wrong. It's something telling you.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite is that, no, you actually have this sort of skill and not that one, and you need to be over here. But that's exactly it. I mean, it's sort of just, I don't know, if you're around things that piss you off, I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah. Hey Kody, well, we'll have to wrap this up soon. But you mentioned you had a Mick Mars tattoo, and I just wanted to, and also an Alice Cooper one.
I have a Buckethead one too.
Oh, really?
Can I see if I can angle my camera around so I can show you? Hang on, we got it. Well, can we see?
Oh wow! Hey, there it is.
Yeah, and then I think I also pull this one up of Mr. Buckethead.
Oh wow!
I can't balance, and now I'm getting old. Let me sit here though.
And you said Alice Cooper's on the neck?
Yes. Here we go. So this was my first one. It's kind of crap, only because I did it like 2 a.m. when I needed the courage and the guts to do it. I had to wait for the moment where I felt it.
Yeah.
And I think because I didn't have a quite proper plan yet. I don't know if the guy was like off his head or something, but it's a little messy.
That's the eyes of Cooper. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, like in Lucy's eyes and stuff, but maybe a few more. They're like more like crude lyrics on my ankle. It's just all in the name of rock and roll. I kind of felt that at one point.
Did you
I
get
was mad at someone who didn't respect it. and I decided to go get him. It's amazing. I'm nuts.
Did you get Nikki or Tommy's one as well?
I have not met them. You know what I really wanted to meet was Mick Mars.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about Mick. Maybe it's just me with like more mysterious people. They've got something to them. I don't know. They're very much their own. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Mick, yeah, I would love to meet him. I think he's a fabulous, like he's very blues based, but I love like he's like he plays slide a lot. And if you guys, you should listen to Bittersweet. So that is a Motley Crue song, but it's instrumental. So Mick Mars had worked that. That's incredible. You'll hear his complete like blues sound come out. It's incredible. In fact, I think I'd be able to talk to Mick Mars for hours.
I'm just making a note of that, by the way.
Yeah.
And also, did you watch The Dirt?
Yeah. Oh, I liked that. You know, I mean, I think they did well with the way that they did it, but you know, like I mean, obviously everyone's like, oh, they left this out and that out. It's like probably anyone except like true fans is not going to stick around and watch the whole thing. So I get that. I mean, the book is kind of more. I mean, again, too, to have that on Netflix, some of the stuff that's in that book.
Yeah.
They can't do the book's amazing, but remember, I thought they did well with it. Was there anything specific from that? Gosh, I mean, I don't know. I thought whoever played Mick Mars, definitely. I'm really bad with actors' names. I don't really know a lot of them. Let's just say him. He was like, I don't know. I can't imagine, like, yeah, like that sort of fit with what I can see of Mick Mars. You know, and it kind of was probably the most correct and like accuracy of like looking at him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie. I mean, I read the book when I was a kid and I kind of knew where it was going to go, but you know, I think they did it well for like, it's because you can't fit a whole book into like in 2 hours anyway. So I think that the liberties that they took were cool.
Yeah. That's it. It's like, what are you going to do? So they did amazing with what they could do. And that's kind of the thing about it really is like realize what you can do and then run with that and make it amazing. So,
well,
you know.
Well, thank you for coming on today, Kody.
Thank you. So, I hope thank you for honestly, I don't know. I like doing this stuff. I like talking music all the time. I never shut up. I warned you about that. Yeah, thank you so much. Because it's good for me and lockdown. And I'm like, oh, this is the stuff I want to do. I don't do influencer face products and crap. Like, no, like, I mean, no offense to those people. It's just not my thing. So anything like this, yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Pleasure to meet you.